We are going to be finding out who is the better, north of England or south of England. So in today's video, we are going to be giving one Vanarama National League North team a lot of money and fully upgrade their facilities. And we are also going to be giving another Vanarama National League South team lots of money and upgraded facilities, and we're going to give them 10 years to see who can climb up the English ranks the furthest. So let's get straight into this video. So the northern team I have picked is Scunthorpe United. I have picked the teams that are predicted to finish first in both of the leagues, so we've gone with the best team. So Scunthorpe United. And I have, as you can see, added in £1 billion bank balance. I've left the transfer and wage budget. I've removed all debts, so they've got no debts at all. And then I've kept the ground the same because I think that's fair. But I've upgraded all of the facilities, as you can see, to 20. So it gives them loads of money, and all the facilities are the best they can be. I haven't signed anyone for them. They've still got the same players that they had. So we're going to give them loads of money and see how they do. The southern team that is going to be competing against Scunthorpe is Yeovil Town. I have done, as you can see, the exact same. We've given them £1 billion bank balance, not touched the transfer or wage budget, removed any debt or loans, and kept the stadium the same and upgraded all the facilities to 20. So they're going to be competing against each other and see how far they can get up the English rank. So without further ado, let's skip to the end of this first season. Alright, so that is season number 1 finished and done, and as you can see, Scunthorpe United did get promoted, but they had to go through the playoffs to win, and they beat Buxton on penalties in the playoff final. So they only finished 3rd in the league, quite a fair bit behind, which is a little bit concerning, to say the least. But let's take a look at what they did. So finances, they've still got well over $1 billion, so that's really good. They've got a high transfer budget, massive wage, and all the facilities looking good. Youth has gone down by 1, but that is fine. So let's take a look at past place. I want to see how they actually got on. So they had a steady rise here. To be fair, they've been 1st and 2nd most of the season, but then they fell off a little bit towards the end. And then went back up as well. So let's take a look at transfers, what they spent. So they spent 20k on transfers and sold 50k, so they didn't massively spend, which is kind of a good thing. But yeah, they did spend a little bit. So that is Scunthorpe. So that is the north side. So they are now in the Vanarama National League. Let's take a look at Yeovil. So they finished much better, as you can see, and they did a lot better towards the end of the season. Wow, they finished top of the league by 20 points. Absolutely amazing season by Yeovil. So they are also in the Vanarama National League. So let's have a look at how they got on with their money. So a lot less than $1 billion. They spent about 300 million, but it's all gone into the transfer budget. As you can see, a massive wage budget again, no debts or anything. And again, the youth facility has gone down by 1, but the rest is okay. So let's have a look at what they did. Transfers at 1k, 35k spent, which is actually quite a lot for this league. So obviously the money has been helping them slightly, but not too much. So let's have a look. Yeah, look, as you can see, they dropped off a lot at the start, but literally since match day 17 they've been top of the league. So without a doubt they have been promoted, and so let's go and see how these two get on in the first season in the Van Rama National League. Alright, so season number 2 is over and done with. So let's have a look at how the teams got on. As you can see, our teams finished 6th and 7th, which is very interesting. Both on the same points, just one higher goal difference. So they are staying in the league. So they were challenging near the top, but they're not going to get relegated. So let's just have a look at past positions. So Yeovil, pretty high start off with, then went down quite a lot. Not really in threat of relegation, and then a steady climb up to 6th place. And then Scunthorpe had a really good start, up to 2nd in a few points, mostly around 2nd to 5th, but then dropped off right off the end, which is really unlucky. So as you can see here, for the majority of the season, Scunthorpe were doing better than Yeovil, and then just at the end here, they couldn't keep it up. So they both finished in 6th and then 7th, so not too bad. But let's have a look at how they are getting on financially. So we gave them $1 billion. They're now just under 600, but their transfer budget is absolutely huge. Facilities, basically all the same, just the training's gone down one now. But how much did they spend? They spent £105,000 and 88k on one player as well. So they actually did spend quite a bit, and they didn't sell that much. They only loaned players out actually. So I'm surprised they did like what they did by spending that much. But anyway, let's have a look at Yeovil. So what did they do? They spent nothing. Yeovil spent only 3 transfers, yet got a position higher than someone who spent 100k, which is very weird. So yeah, they brought loads of free signings in and 2 loanees, and then loaned out a player. So not too bad. So let's simulate season number 3. Let's see if either team can push for promotion to the English Football Leagues, the EFL, to League 2. So with season 3 coming to an end, it is a very disappointing season for the North. Scunthorpe finish in 12th place, as you can see here, and Yeovil all the way up in 3rd place. And they made it to the final of the playoff, but lost on penalties to Grimsby. So close for Yeovil to get into the English Football League. So let's take a look at the finances of Scunthorpe first. So they have just under 600 million left, still massive budgets, and the facilities haven't moved at all. So let's take a look at transfers. They ended up selling £600,000 worth of players and only brought in 20k. I think that may be a reason why they didn't do as well this season, and they only spent 105k last season anyway. So really, they have just sold this year, so that's probably why they didn't do very well. So they are going to have to spend some money to get up here with Yeovil. On the other hand, Yeovil have less money than Scunthorpe, 30 million less, but they have very big transfer budgets and whatnot, and facilities are the exact same as well still. But let's take a look at their transfer, and they only spent 4.7k, but they also sold £625,000 worth of players. So surely you would expect both these clubs to go into the transfer market for the next season and look to spend big. So let's find out what will happen in season number 4. Now we move on to season 4, and as you can see, Really, really unlucky season. Scunthorpe drew 15 games, which is unbelievable. Both Scunthorpe and Yeovil finished on the same points, but Scunthorpe had more goal difference. But both of them were 3 points away from winning the league, which is unbelievable. So let's see how they got on in the playoffs. So in the first round, Yeovil beat Rochdale 2-0. And Southend lost 1-0 to Barnet. And then in the semi-final, Scunthorpe lost 2-0 to Yeovil. So Yeovil actually knocked them out. And then, unfortunately, Yeovil again lost on penalties in the playoff final. So both of them have season number 5 still in the National League. But let's take a look at their club finances. Still around 570 million. Budgets are absolutely massive. No debts, and the facilities are still the exact same. And let's move on to Yeovil. Finances again, 530 mil, still massive budgets. And the facilities again are still the exact same. So I did say they needed to spend big. So they went ahead. Eventually sold 750k, spent 4.7k, but then only spent 36k, brought in loads of loans, and then sold 500k. So they're still selling. I think it has something to do with FFP. It must do, because they keep selling players and not signing many. So Scunthorpe, actually, they sold 600k and then spent 20. But then they sold 800k, sold nearly £1 million worth of players and bought in 300k. And most of that is from loans. So, very, very weird. But they are starting to spend their money, which is good. So, let's see how season number 5 gets on. And possibly, we'll probably end up going to season 10 because they're still stuck in this league. So, let's see how season number 4 starts and ends. So here we are at the end of season number 5, and oh wow, this has been an amazing season. The North has finally done it. Scunthorpe have won the league, smashed it by 11 points. And look who's in second, Yeovil. But again, they got to the playoff final 3 years in a row. This time lost in extra time. So unlucky. Surely next year is the year. But Scunthorpe are in the English Football League next season. They'll be in League 2. It's took them 5 seasons for one of these teams to get to the league. And I think finally the money is now trickling through a little bit. So let's have a look at Scunthorpe's finances. So they're on, again, 540 million-ish. Budget's still massive. But both the training and youth has gone down by 1 facilities. So that's interesting. Yeovil, again, about 530 million. Still massive budgets. Facilities again gone down by 1 for both of them, but the others have stayed the same, which is interesting. So let's have a look. Did they spend a lot of money to try and go for a promotion, which unfortunately they only just missed out on? No, not really. They spent, again, sold 225k worth, and again only spent 350k worth of players. Few loans there, but not really much. But they are second, so they are getting there. So let's have a look at Scunthorpe's transfer budget. Yep, as you can see, they spent massive. So they went 2.2 million, sold 450k, so they still sold a little bit. But they spent 2.2 million. They got quite a few expensive loans in, and a player for 1.7 million. A few loans again. And then a few free transfers. So yeah, they went for it big time. So that is the reason why they've gone up. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip another 5 seasons until the 10th season, and let's see what these teams can do. So I'll see you in Season 10. Alright, so we are in 2033 and let's take a look at the North team first. So they are currently in League 1. Let's see what they did while we were away. So they finished 3rd in the National League, didn't go up, but then the previous season they've topped the league and went straight up to League 2, which then won the league again, went straight up to League 1, finished 20th. Next season finished 23rd, got relegated, and then last season they finished 4th, and they are back in League 1. The club has just under 500 million, and the facilities have started going down a little bit. Let's check the transfer spending. So they spent 20k, not too much. So this is where we left them off. So they didn't sign anyone, and they sold nearly 400k. Sold 2.7 million there. Barely spent any. Sold 1 million. Didn't sign anyone for anything. Sold 350, and then sold 4.2 million this season back in League 1. So really, that's pretty poor from Scunthorpe. They've not done really well there. So let's go ahead and let's check on the Southerners to see if they've done better. So Yeovil, Sky Bet Championship. Wow. So let's take a look where we left off. So there was 6th, 3rd, 4th, 2nd, still didn't get promoted. Then they finally finished 2nd and got promoted through the playoffs, obviously. Then the previous season, exactly the same, 2nd but got promoted. League 1 finished 8th, and then last season they finished 2nd in League 1 and got promoted to the Championship, which is absolutely awesome. So let's take a look at the transfer spending. Absolutely nothing there. That's where we left them off. 350k to 500, not too bad. 0, lots of loans and freebies. 350k, again freebies and 1.3 million. There's a lot of selling going on. 0, all loans, and then sold nearly 6 million worth. And then 250k, 1.7 million. Again, there's a lot of selling going on. And then this season, now they're in the Championship, they're having to spend a lot of money, and they spent 8 million so far, and only sold 25k. So now they're in the Championship, they're starting to spend, but not really spent that much money. And let's take a look at the club's finances. 460 million, and facilities are exactly the same. So yeah, it's actually quite a weird one, actually. But we've done North versus South, and the clear winner here is the South. South got to the Championship. I would continue further, but we'll save that for another time. But I wonder how they would do in the Sky Bet Championship. But in the future, we'll definitely have to do a few rebuilds on these two teams here and see how far we can get them in the 10 seasons that I have simulated on here, and see how far I can get them. So that is going to be it for today. If you enjoyed the video, drop a subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Drop a like on the video, and thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video, so stick around for more.